Hello, I've decided to go through apples this time. So most of us eat apples and obviously they're full of seeds. You can actually grow an apple tree from those. Sometimes you actually get lucky, like I've discovered with a couple of apples that I've cored, and you'll actually find some of the seeds are already sprouting. But if that's not the case, what you need to do is get them inside some like wet paper towel and put some cinnamon on there as well. I'll give you an example. So if you see something along these lines, the idea is the cinnamon's an antifungal, so that'll help protect the seeds with all that moisture, and the nice damp environment of the paper towel gives enough moisture but still allows some air to get in there so that they can sprout in a nice environment without too much pressure. Now the next trick though is that this you need to sort of fold up, put inside something like a plastic bag, seal it up, but then you have to throw it in the refrigerator. So the thing with putting it in the refrigerator is apples are one of those many seeds that require what they call stratification. Essentially, it means it needs to go through a cold period that then lets the seed know that it is time for it to sprout. It sort of simulates the changing of the seasons. And if you're in Australia, you don't tend to get as much of that in a lot of areas, so you need to kind of artificially push it along. Now what happens then is over a few weeks, I'll give you an example of what you're ideally looking for. Over a few weeks, you'll wind up with something along these lines. Now I'll just move it because the cinnamon is in the way. So as you can see there, you're getting yourself a nice little sprout. And that one there showing through as well. Got a couple there. Also, I'll just bring this over. That one there, that one's smaller. So once they've sprouted, now I'm still working on it. I haven't worked out the best size yet, but ideally you want them to be a bit longer, around this sort of length at least. Shows that they've actually got a bit of a move on. So your trick after that, you need to get yourself some nice soil. It's like a nice potting mix or one of those seed raising mixes. Something not too heavy, basically, to allow the seed to grow out of it nice and easily. The trick then, keep it nice and moist. They actually do like a bit of warmth as well. I've kept some of mine in a little mini greenhouse. That seems to have helped. But just don't want it to be too cold. You need to let it know that the season's changed, essentially. And I'll give you a little example of what you're looking at then. So here we go. This is one I planted a few weeks ago. So if you're lucky enough that it decides that it actually wants to continue to sprout and grow, now so far it's been a little bit hit and miss with me, so I haven't figured out the precise, but there's plenty of seeds to play with, so it's no biggie. What you'll get after a few weeks is something similar to this. Lovely little seedling starting. And here, this one here is a bit older. Now, I also did find quite fascinating, I've got another couple of plants at a similar age to this, and it's surprising how similar they look at this age. If it wasn't for the fact that I kept them separate, I'd actually would have thought that I had the same plant growing. But there's an older apple. It's probably getting close to the time that wants to go in a little bit bigger pot, but I'll keep it out for a while, because you want to try to transplant them as little as possible. You do suffer from root shock. So that is basically what you're looking at, and you can then grow yourself your little apple tree. So give it a go, have some fun with it, give it a try. Remember, if you actually go through apples, there's plenty of seeds to play with, so it doesn't matter if only a couple of them work. You can easily get yourself a couple of apples happening out of it. So until next time, hope that was a nice and interesting one for you. Hope you get something out of it. Thank you. One last thing I almost forgot is quite important. When you're planting the seed, you want to essentially try for tail down. Does seem to be a little bit different with some seeds. So this one in particular, tail down. I have tried it around that sort of sideways as well. That does seem to work sometimes. But yeah, down not up. The ones that I did up did die. So thank you.